how the hell can you like turn people's credit cards, bank accounts off? We basically are rugging Russia back into a third world country. Real legitimate. McDonald's is out of there. Coca-Cola is out of there. We're pulling basically anything that the Western like America has given, like in terms of like capitalism, in terms of like Russia is being like rugged right now. So like every product chain, it's insane. Like we're sending them back to like right before the wall fell. It's kind of crazy. It's like no, and even like we're sending them back to the 70s in terms of products because they didn't even have Pepsi. Like like USSR was so hungry for like Pepsi once they tried it that they literally traded a bunch of old warships for bartering capital in order to get Pepsi like syrup in order to make soda in the USSR. Like we're sending these motherfuckers that back. Like bro, this is kind of crazy. McDonald's is out of there, bro. Like it's crazy. Like what's going on right now.
Yeah, it must be so
bro.
Yeah,
It's weird. Like, no more Levi's, bro. No more jeans in Russia, bro. Like it's like no more. Like we're embargoing them so hard. They don't have Adidas tracksuits anymore in Russia. Can you imagine? Like no more Adidas tracksuits in Russia. Like wow, dude. Like this is crazy. I mean, this is kind of crazy. This is really insane. I've never like in my lifetime, like I've never seen this happen before. Like to a country this large. I've seen with little minor stuff, but like. I mean, there's a statistic out there, right? There is the minute there's a McDonald's in your country, you're no longer bombed anymore.
Basically. Yeah, I can see that.
And if there's no McDonald's in your country, what does that mean? That means we're rolling in there and gonna are we gonna slap something?
Yeah, get the corporation out before they, it's I mean it's a bad sign for sure, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it's. There's a lot going on. It's hard to know like the real narratives and the real like what the real players are trying to do with all this. But I do agree. Like it's kind of crazy to see. We haven't really seen anything like this, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And it is interesting with crypto because it does give a use case that crypto is designed for in theory. But at the same time, like we don't want to track these negative narratives because of course the media will look to run with things, right? Like, okay, crypto is being used, by the enemy or whatever. It's just like, okay, but they're doing. It's interesting because there's different things happening, right? You have the Biden stuff, like you basically have it looking like they're going to go the route of regulation, focusing on the exchanges, focusing on KYC, which is what I expected. I expected them to not stop it. There's a lot of tax dollars and there's a lot of money to be made with crypto, so like. I didn't expect them to shut it down. I do think they're going to go after parts of crypto that are the biggest threats to the current system. But things like ETH and Bitcoin, they're going to be categorized. I think they already are as commodities, but it's going to be clear that that's what they are. They're going to be taxed. You're just going to have to KYC and things. So it sucks for I guess like the original ethos of the space.
Right.
As far as like actual decentralization, true decentralization, but. As far as opportunities go, it's good in the way that like I don't see them shutting in North America anyways. Like I don't see crypto like they've already have an ETF in Canada that's gaining adoption. There's already a ton of like Canada has a ton of hydropower. Like there's a ton of mining already happening in Canada, and there's just opportunities for these countries to make a lot of money. So I don't see them shutting it down, but so it is interesting because you would think like okay they could use the narrative if they want to at times. They could say like Bitcoin is being used by the enemy, this and that, but at the same time like they're incentivized I think to not bash a Bitcoin and crypto too much. So we'll see what happens, man.
It's a lot of stuff. I mean, like notice how well, maybe I shouldn't say on the stream, dude. It's kind of bad. I don't want my channel to get flagged, but like, it's all Russia. Russia created inflation, right? And then like, there's no more masks anymore. Magically, magic happens, right? It's like, right? It's like, hey, dude, you guys, Android 19's over, you guys. Now it's Russiagate. It's Russia now.
Russia, There needs to be a narrative that's it's essentially like a drip feed of fear into the population, right? Because it keeps them like not thinking as logically, easier to control. There needs to be always like this is my theory.
It's an event coordination. It's like they need a reason to print.
Yeah,
right? And I kind of low key as a crypto guy, I kind of want them to print, which is bad.
I know, it is
bad. I shouldn't want that's bad, dude.
Well, but it's because we've detached ourselves to a large degree from the system, right? So for us, we're less attached to the system, so we care less about what happens with the system. Obviously, I feel bad for people that are holding just dollars if they continue to inflate to this degree. And like the CPI number being at basically 8% now, that's crazy because the actual inflation rate is a lot higher than that.
Like 20, it's probably 24% a year. It's probably 24% a year.
It's like, getting like that's insane. Like you're losing a fifth of your money by just holding dollars in a bank. Like your purchasing power, you're not losing actual dollars, but you're losing that much in your purchasing power and your true wealth.
Yeah, peep this Plancy.
Notice it though, because it's just all the goods around you are becoming more expensive. You might think you're not losing wealth. You have the same numbers in your bank account, but you're getting 20% behind by just holding dollars. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just like because I've been shopping around for a house, right? I've been shopping around for a house and stuff and everything. I haven't found one yet, and I've shopped around in these areas where I wanted to go, right? And the real estate market is like it's vertical, dude. So it's like there's this whole thing of like there's like the whole consumer price index and stuff, which is basically just milk and eggs and shit and like that and everything like that, and they're some of the most manipulated like commodities ever. So because that's what we track. So we try to control the price. That's what's going on really. But in terms of stuff that you actually want, like you actually want a house, you actually want like consistent income. The things that you actually want are like this thing right here. This thing right here. This thing retails for like 14 grand, and you could buy this for like 25 G's. You can't get this for 14,000. So like watches, classic cars, like basically anything that you truly want in life, that's the extras besides like subsistence, is just going in a vertical line up. Like how is that possible? Like I just like there's a watch. I bought a watch for my girl the other day, and that we bought it for like 14 grand, and it's worth like 35,000 now.
Yeah,
in 2 months.
Yeah,
in 2 months.
And
like it's insanity. Like what's going on. So it's like
that shows you how much money printing there really is. And like a lot of these people that are kind of wanting the money to be printed across the board, they're holding all the scarce assets, all the things that are just mooning in value. It is a rug pull on the population. They're essentially it's a squeeze. It's a squeeze on the population to be like, how much more can we wring out the cloth? Like we have a good amount of the wealth already, but like how much can we actually like wring out the population like in a way that they don't necessarily realize? And we basically want to put them all on a universal basic income system, because when you put everyone on a universal basic income system, they have to follow the rules of society to get their money, and they're dependent on the system.
Right.
So they want to have like ultimately what just so people understand where it's headed. They want a digital control grid. They want to have basically like a UBI system. Like digital ID, social credit score. Like all this stuff is connected. Like they're going to have all the assets on the blockchain. They can shut off your assets if you protest. That's the goal. I'm not saying this happens, but that's what they actually want. So when you take all this into consideration, you can think, okay, how can I position myself when I know this is the direction it wants to be pushed in, right? And a big part of this is crashing the dollars and inflating them because they want to transition into like these central bank digital currencies, right? And they need a reason to blame the failing of the last system. So the last Ponzi scheme was over. Like it ran their Ponzi for whatever 100 years. The Ponzi was already coming to a close, but we don't want to get blamed for the Ponzi. We don't want them to come after the founders of the Ponzi. We need a scapegoat. We need an outside. So COVID, wars, all this like chaos in the world, this constant like fear in the news. This creates the acceptance of a new system because people are like just in a state of like basically people are just frozen. They don't know what to do, so they just accept whatever happens. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. Anyways, it could be, but yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, and like this just, I mean, like right, like when I was just talking about the housing market for 1 second, like